Jesus can't be black or white and real. If you want to talk about Jesus the way that I, a non Christian, would, as though he is a fictional character inside of a book, then you can make him whatever color you want. Like Santa Claus or the Little Mermaid. It don't matter. However, Christians have decided that the Bible is real and therefore everything inside of it is also real.
Hello there, people of the internet. My name is Wh1TE and this is Real Talk Black. So, when colonization started in Africa, the Europeans came with the concept of religion. Before then, we had the traditional Africans practicing different forms of religion, which was so good, and they were based on morality and that kinds of teaching. We had the Yoruba of Nigeria having their belief in Olodumare, which was the supreme god. The Akan of Ghana had their belief on a supreme god called Nyame. The Zulu of South Africa had their belief on the creator of the earth, whom they called Nkulunkulu. And the Kikuyu of Kenya had their belief on a supreme god who they called Ngai. But the coming of the European was characterized with the introduction of Christianity. Before then, there used to be Islam and traditional religion, but they came with Christianity. And that is where everything started to change. And they tried to, one by one, convince the different communities to believe in one supreme being who was Jesus or God. And then they brought in some images to represent this supreme deity. So before we get into that quick discussion, let's first watch these few clips and see what we have at the end of it.
Now listen to me carefully, brothers and sisters. And don't you black people ever forget one thing. The man that helped Jesus carry that cross was a black man. And don't ever forget another thing. Jesus belongs to Africa as much as he does to Europe and Asia. He was born in that part of the world that touches Africa and Asia and Europe, and Jesus was not a white man like me, nor was he as black as some of you. We don't know what the color of his skin, but it must have been a dark color like the people of his day, because he was a man like them. Don't ever say it's a white man's religion or a black man's religion. It's a world religion. He belongs to the world.
Look how familiar that face is, and I'm finna tell you who the fuck that really is, because it's not Jesus. His name is Cesar Borgias, or something like that. And he was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. So let's get into the real story on how the fake Jesus came to be here in the Western United States, where all the fakeness is and the lies, etc., etc. If I die because this is a government, but I think I'll be alright. So boom, let's read this. Between 1502 and 1503, Cesar Borgia hired Leonardo da Vinci to be an architect and engineer, in which him and Leonardo da Vinci also became intimate lovers in a homosexual relationship. They were lovers. Expressing his love for Caesar, Leonardo painted many pictures of him. Caesar's father, Rodrigo Borgia, who later became Pope Alexander VI under the authority of the Catholic Church elite, had his son's picture put up as Jesus Christ in the Western world and ordered any pictures of a black Jesus destroyed. Caesar had sex with his own sister, Lucretia, and he killed his brother Giovanni in 1497. And this is the man who the Catholic Church gave their consent to allowing his picture to be put up and portrayed as Jesus Christ. The white Jesus of today was modeled by Cesar Borgias. Cesar Borgias, Jesus of today. Everybody knows Jesus was black, but, you know, Yahshua, Yahweh was black. I don't like Jesus. That's a whole white person thing. But, and I'm not making this racist. I'm just saying everything how it is factually or politically correct, if you dig my flow. What are you doing? Which brought me to this. So who's the white man posing as Jesus Christ? His name is Cesar Borgia, the second son of Pope Alexander VI of Rome, which I just read. He modeled for the image of the new Jesus Christ originally painted by Leonardo da Vinci. So it's kind of like they started the whole false reality of America in a way. You know, it's like all the beliefs and everything was painted on a fake Jesus. took away all the black, all the real story of who Jesus is and all of that, and switched everything up, and enslaved a whole bunch of blacks, my people, other peoples. You know what I'm saying? I'm not putting names out there because you know what I'm saying. Not to offend nobody, but white people hate when other people speak about Jesus and how he's not white. But I just gotta put this out there because this is not him. In the Bible, Jesus has fiery eyes, woolly hair. His skin is black. Come on now, like come on now. This ain't no Jesus Christ. He don't got no blue eyes. He don't got long hair like this. He don't got a beard like that. He's not like this. He's not at all like this. This looks like a motherfucker named Joseph. But really, his name is Cesar Borgia. Cesar Borgia. I wonder if I'm saying it right. But yeah, you're welcome for clearing that up. Yeah.
Have you seen the video by a white guy who is asking why Africans still worship a white god? This is a question that I was asked by an American when I was in Kenya. And he asked me, why do Africans worship the white god? The truth of the matter is, Africans, we are confused. We are confused because each one of the tribes of Africa, we all had our god. We all, if you look at the Maasai, they worshipped Enkai Nyoke, I think. The Gikuyu worshipped Gai, the Embus and the Merus, Murungu, and all the different tribes I have looked at in Africa, they all worship their own gods. And this guy was asking, given what Christianity has done to Africans, justifying slavery, actually, the Church of England apologized for its role in the slave trade. The Pope apologized for its role in the slave trade. They actually sanctioned slavery, and they bought and they owned slaves, and they actually traded in slaves. And this guy was asking, why is it, given what Christianity and its name has done to Africa, why are Africans still so religious? Now, my answer to this guy is that Africans have not changed for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Africans were already religious because, like my tribe, the Agikoyo people, we worshipped Gai at the time of harvest, at the time of, and we even know where our God lives, Gai. And actually, if you go to any church, people from the Agikoyo tribe, they will all worship Gai. They will look to the heavens and so go Gai, because this is our ancient method of worship. Now, there is a confusion because missionaries literally cut down the Mugumo trees where the Agikoyo used to worship, and they planted churches there. And they forced the people to actually go into the churches. So the people are worshipping Gai, who is an ancient god that they always are worshipped to. However, there's a lot of iconography of the white god, Jesus. In any case, how do we know what color God is? We have got no idea. Each and every tribe on earth, or each and every group of people, have a notion of who God is. Okay? What the missionaries brought is the iconography of Jesus. That's what they brought. And I know some people will not be happy when they hear me saying this, but this is the religion that was used to justify all the horrors that have been unleashed on black people. And it was very interesting to listen to what he had to say.
The Bible, and I got to bring Billy Graham as a witness here because, you know, Billy is a great evangelist. And years ago in the 60s, when he was teaching in Africa, he told the people there that Jesus was a black man. Now, of course, that may shock your ears, but in the private chambers of the Pope, wait, he has a picture of a black Madonna and a black baby Jesus. Since he's Polish, you know, in Częstochowa, I think is the name of it, they have this black Madonna. all over the world, there's this black Madonna. But in America, we've never seen it. Why is that? Now, the Bible tells you that Mary was an Egyptian woman. Of course, you know Egypt is in Africa. And not that I'm teaching you anything that you don't know. And the Bible teaches that Jesus had hair like lamb's wool. Something like some of the black students that are here, or the black people that are here. And his feet were like burnished brass. Now, it really don't make any difference to me if he were blonde or blue-eyed. I'm just telling you the truth. Because when you mature, you see beyond color. You know. But how mature are you that you knew he was black and then painted him white?
How do I say this? The entire Bible is about black people. Not only was Jesus black, but every character in the Bible seems to be black too. Yeah, Zephaniah and Jeremiah and Jebediah, those all aren't white people names, okay? And Jesus wasn't some tan, partially melanated Middle Eastern person either. I'm talking straight up black dude, okay? Even in the book of Revelation, when you get the vision of Daniel, he's describing someone with feet like burnt brass and white woolly hair, and we've got the deep running water voice with the red eyes, and you guys, he's black. The Jewish people are black people, like Kanye was right. And those people yelling at the park dressed in purple about black people being the real Hebrew Israelites, they're right, okay? Like, anytime you see the word Hebrew or Israelite or Jew in the Bible, in your mind, you got to replace that with black person. So the whole Bible is going to make a lot more sense to you once you start reading it like that. But you need to let this get settled in your heart now before you get up there. So, I mean, they were literally whipping him on his way to get crucified, you guys. Crucifixion was a punishment, like, for slaves back then. And gladiators. And all the gladiators were black, too. Did you know that? Like, you guys, he was sold for 30 pieces of silver. That was the maximum amount of money that a slave could be sold for. Oh, just coincidence? Above his cross, it says INRI. They were like mocking him. They were saying it says this is the king of the Jews. They're saying, like, here's the king of the black people. Look what we did to him. Why does the KKK burn crosses, you guys? The racist KKK. It's just, black people rejoice. You are God's chosen people. Like, I mean, those are some big shoes to fill, but be honored. Like, feel good about that. Like, how cool. Anyway, see you later. Jesus was black.
Jesus can't be black or white and real. If you want to talk about Jesus the way that I, a non-Christian, would, as though he is a fictional character inside of a book, then you can make him whatever color you want. Like Santa Claus or the Little Mermaid. It don't matter. However, Christians have decided that the Bible is real, and therefore everything inside of it is also real. So much so that they are going to form their entire lives and everything they do around what the inside of this book says. And that not only should they do that and live their lives like that, but people like me that don't believe in it should also lead my life according to this book that they believe in, but I do not. If I didn't live in America, this probably wouldn't bother me, but unfortunately, our country is run by a very small minority of religious zealots that insist that even though we have separation of church and state, a lot of our laws are based on Christianity. So the only reason why this is even something that I care about at all is because it affects me in that manner. That being said, autism. So I really don't like it when people say things that can't possibly be true. So if you want to talk about Jesus the way that I think you want to talk about Jesus, which is that he's a real person that actually walked the earth and that the Bible is real and so was he, then to suggest that that book was written at that particular time in history about that place on earth. Now, I'll hold your hand, and that person, the main character who got all the other people that live there to listen to what he said and follow him, was anything other than a dark-haired, dark-skinned, Middle Eastern, likely Palestinian, is a little wild. The video I made is like the exact collation of that. People don't listen to people that don't look like them. I'm not making those videos for the black community. I'm making those videos for people that look like me, because people that look like me don't have a tendency to listen to people that look like you when they talk about things like that. I don't like that. I wish it wasn't true, but it is. It's the same reason that women ask men to talk to other men about their problematic behavior, because men don't listen to women. So the idea that a bunch of Middle Eastern people just decided to follow some guy who was either black or white, and that the fact that he was black or white was just not ever mentioned in that book, it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. It does not make sense to me. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Now, I'm back with my analysis on the same, and my first point would be to ask you: does the color of Jesus matter to you? Does white or black Jesus matter to you? Before you answer that, I would love to bring to your attention that when the European came to East Africa or Africa as a whole, then they introduced this whole concept of a new religion whereby Jesus was painted white. And yeah, that is how the religion or religious indoctrination started. And we had images of white Jesus both in the Bible and in churches. Yeah. So does the color matter to you or not? For me, I would say it does, because color black has always been associated with evil things. When you look at the images in the old Bible, Satan has always been depicted with color black. When people are going for funerals or any other sad event, then they normally wear color black. But when there is happiness, when there is a wedding, some function, or any other place where there is happiness involved, then there is color white involved. So I've always been asking myself, why is this so? The same way you should always be asking yourself that. Why do they have to strive so much to bring the white color close to goodness and purity, and associate the black color to the evil things? So those are some of the questions that we need to ask ourselves and find their answers. So when the Europeans came to Africa, they tend to tweak a few things. You had to see the changes in the naming system. The Africans were no longer named their usual way, and they were no longer given the African names. Instead, they were given European names during baptisms, which somehow does not sit right with me. Why would you take away the African culture and try to introduce your own culture to these people? Is it because they felt that the African culture was in a way better than them or superior to them? or what was the logic behind trying to change their culture and all that. And yeah, that is just my thought on that. And now that discussions are emerging online, there were some files that were released by Russia through Vladimir Putin, and the images of Jesus and the disciples were released. And Jesus was black, and that's the same as all the disciples. So that is my conviction, and it is what I think. And I think the color matters. And now some white folks do not sit well with this information. And if you are conversant with the Bible, then you know the book of Songs of Solomon, or yeah, if you can read the modern Bible that was introduced just by a few groups of people, it's called the Sefer Bible. If you understand the Sefer and the Truth Unedited .com, then you understand how they try to restructure the whole Bible and bring in the parts that were omitted during translation. And the Sefer Bible in the book of Hashirim describes Jesus that his head is glittering as gold, his locks are pendulous, and black as a raven. So that means from that definition in the book of Songs, so you can check Songs of Solomon chapter 5 verse 11, or the book of Hashirim in the Sefer chapter 5 verse 11, and then you will see this description of Jesus. He was his head was glittering gold, he had locks, and they were pendulous and black as a raven. So yeah, that is just the truth, and it's about time everybody comes into terms with that. And black is no longer the sad color, the color that is associated with evil and all that, but instead it's the color of Christ, and I love it for that. Thank you so much for watching. I have been your host, Dev KE. Please take a minute to like, subscribe, and share so that we can continue to have more discussions like this. So peace out, and see you guys in the next episode.